this question, we are told that it takes 6 students 1 hour to sweep their school compound. So how long will it take 15 students to sweep the same compound? So we check our units. We have students, and we are going to calculate our time in hours. So let's write the proportion. We know that 6 students will complete the work in 1 hour. So if I have 15 students, how long will it take them? So let's represent that with an X. So this is an indirect proportion. So I'm going to take a reciprocal on one of the ratios. So I'll maintain the students ratio. 6 out of 15 is equal to X over 1. Then I'll do my cross multiplication. I'll get 15x, or 15 times x, is equal to 6 times 1. When I divide both sides by 15, I'll get 6 times 1 over 15. So I have 6 divided by 15. Okay, so let's do a small long division here. So I have 6 divided by 15. So 15 cannot divide 6, so I have my 0 and a point, and this becomes 60. I know that 15 times 4 is 60, so 4 times 15 is 60. Then I have that as my answer. So my answer, X, is equal to 0.4 hours. Okay, now sometimes you may be required to write this answer in minutes. So 0.4 hours, how many minutes will that be? At this stage, we know that 1 hour is equal to 60 minutes. So whenever we are changing from hours to minutes, we just multiply the quantity in hours by 60. So we are going to do the same thing here. So now I know that my X will be equal to 0.4 times 60 minutes. Okay, so this is what happens. We have a 0 here, okay, which is like a times 10. So this 0 will move the decimal point forward. Okay, so that takes out this 0. So now I have 4 times 6 minutes. And that will give me 24 minutes. Okay, so any convenient way of multiplying 0.4 times 60 will get you the answer. So that means 15 boys will sweep the compound in 24 minutes. Okay, so it's actually 15 students will sweep the compound in 24 minutes, or 0.4 hours. Okay, so if you are required to leave your answer in minutes, then you have to go ahead and do all this. But if it is not required and your answer should be in hours, then you can just end your solution there as in hours. Let's take a final example and then we'll call it a day. A cyclist traveling at 80 kilometers per hour takes 20 minutes to complete a track. A. How long will the cyclist take to complete the same track if he travels at 100 kilometers per hour? And B. What will be the speed of a cyclist who takes 1 hour to cover the same track? So just as I said earlier on, when we are dealing with speed, kilometers per hour is in speed, and time, it is an example of indirect proportion. So we have our speed in kilometers per hour, and then we are to calculate our time in minutes for the first one. So we know that 80 kilometers per hour will require 20 minutes. So what if I have 100 kilometers per hour? That will give me how many minutes? So we are going to do a reciprocal on one of the ratios and indicate here that it is an indirect proportion. So I will have 80 over 100 is equal to x over 20. So when I do my cross multiplication, I'll get 100 times x, or 100x is equal to 80 times 20. When I divide both sides by 100, I'll get x is equal to 80 times 20, all divided by 100. So now I can cancel these zeros. This will cancel, one at the top, one at the bottom, and I end up with just 8 times 2 over 1. 8 times 2 over 1, and that will be equal to 16 minutes. Okay, so therefore the cyclist will take 16 minutes if he travels at 100 kilometers per hour. If he travels at 100 kilometers per hour. Then the B part of the question is asking us, what will the speed of a cyclist who takes 1 hour to cover the same track? So let's write our ratio, but we must first remember that the time was given in minutes, and now they are asking us in hours. So to ensure that the units are the same, we are going to change the hours to minutes. So that's the first thing we'll write. So we know that 1 hour is equal to 60 minutes. Okay, so now that we have the minutes, we can write the proportion. So from the question, we know that 80 kilometers per hour is covered in 20 minutes. So what is the speed? We don't know. So x kilometers per hour is equal to 60 minutes. And this is indirect proportion, since we are dealing with speed and time. So we are going to perform a reciprocal on one of the ratios. So I'm going to maintain the kilometers per hour. So that gives me 80 over x is equal to 60 over 20. Now I can do the cross multiplication. I'll get 60 times x is equal to 80 times 20. When I divide both sides by 60, I'll get x to be equal to 80 times 20 all over 60. So I can divide, I can cancel this 0. I have 6 and 2, 6. I know 2 will divide itself 1, and divide 6 3 times. So I end up with 80 divided by 3. 80 divided by 3. So let's do that small long division here. I know that x is now equal to 80 divided by 3. So 80 divided by 3, 3 will divide 8 2 times. 2 times 3 is 6. 8 minus 6 is 2. I'll bring down the 0. Make it 20. 3 will divide 20 6 times. 6 times 3 is 18. 20 minus 18 is 2. 3 cannot divide 2, so I'll bring a decimal point. This becomes 20. 3 will divide 26 times. 6 times 3 is 18. So I think I'm going to be getting 6666 repeating itself. So I'll just round it to 2 decimal places, and my answer will be x is equal to 26.67. 26.67. So that would be the speed for that cyclist. So therefore, the cyclist will take 1 hour if he travels at 26.67 kilometers. Okay, so it's important to always leave your answer to at least 2 decimal places. Okay, and don't forget the units.